It's irrelevant. You live together, so you live like you're married. Whether you're married or not doesn't matter, okay? For better, for worse. If you live together and you're not living like you're married, there's something wrong, okay? Right? Um, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health. You do it for them. You do it forever. That's what family is. You do it forever. How long should I do it for? Forever. That's the commitment you make as a family.
And
It's not so much about growing up as it is about having family. Sacrifice. Do you trust your partner? Blood is thicker than water. That's unavoidable in every single situation, in every single family. Even when the love is hate, it's still stronger, right? Um, Two sides of the same coin. But if you if you trust your partner, then you don't need to worry about what she's going to do because you trust your partner. Imagine, okay, imagine the perfect world. Of course, this is impossible, but let's play fantasy lives for a second, right? Imagine that he went to meet her and you had zero feeling about it. Imagine you were like the water running over and round the stone. The
hmm
stone didn't, the stone didn't block you and stop you and make you think about 1,001 possible things that might or might not happen. You just flowed, right? Well, you don't have that at all. You're blocked by every stone in the river. Yeah. And there's all these stones together make a big dam and all the water builds up. And the weight and the pressure is immense. And that's what you feel. I've been there, all right, I'm a human being. I've got emotions. I don't have perfect control. Perfection exists only in Christ, okay?
hmm
It's, outside of Christ, we're all sinners. We all fall short. We do our best, whatever that means. I don't like that phrase. Um, but we all fall short. We're all guilty. Um, there is no crime committed by another man that I could not have possibly committed myself.
hmm
Doesn't mean I would, but it's real. We're human beings, we're emotionally driven and guided by certain elements of life sometimes, and it's not good. Out of the heart come many vile atrocities. There's all this stuff about the heart being good is bullshit, right? Heart is dangerous. It's definitely not all good. Follow your heart is just insane. That could lead you to hell is twice as fast as heaven, right? You always get to hell faster anyway. Um, so, the heart is dark. Go read the Old Testament. The heart is dark. It's a really dark element of the human psyche. And the idea that all things from the heart are good is just complete bullshit. Because if it doesn't have Christ at the core, it's nothing. If your love doesn't first come from God, then where has it come from? Come from you? That's dangerous. That is so dangerous. Because we're all tempted. We all fall short. All of us. All the time. But we have to live with it. And learn to improve. Slowly and and through the pains and sufferings and sacrifices of life. Now, the only way beyond the situation for you is for you to aim for that perfect experience, which is to be the water rushing around the rock and to release all of that anxiety. Because and that might not even be possible, because part of yourself might need to worry. Because sometimes we're like that as human beings. Part of us needs to worry because it's a very essential element of who we are for some reason. It makes up our personality. To a certain extent, I've been there, so I know what you're talking about. If I were talking to my younger self, this is what I would say. Stop trying to control reality. Stop it. Stop trying to control anything. Just stop worrying about what other people are going to do. Stop trying to control what other people will do, because they'll do it anyway. And if you let things be, all that happens is reality exposes itself. If you stand in the way, reality never exposes itself. You're not even the prisoner, but you're in prison, right? You're the prison guard, because you have to monitor and take care of what's happening with all the prisoners. So that's even a harder job than being a prisoner, because the prisoner's job is just to follow the orders, which is not an easy thing to do, but the prison officer's job, or the prison guard's job, is to ensure the prisoners do what they're told. And that's the only way to live unhappily in that situation, is to be in the panopticon, knowing everything that's happening all the time, which is also unhelpful because it's information that only God can handle. There's a great tendency among humans in general, I'm not specifically talking about you, I'm talking about humans in general, to want to play God. Look around. People want to play God. The politicians want to play God. The directors of companies want to play God. Anybody with too much money wants to play God. School teachers sometimes want to play God. Parents sometimes want to play God. Everybody wants to play God. It's not a good idea. Because we're not God, and the only way to circumnavigate this situation is to take our hands off of everything and let it be. But then we sometimes fear what that will do or cause, because it's the great unknown. What lies beyond. I imagine it would be scary for anybody. It's not just, life is very much a team sport. It's community orientated in terms of growth and success. There's very little that a person can do on their own without some kind of community around about to support them. Being lonely is a great fear of the modern world. It is sad that with all of the technological advancements we've had, we really as a society don't seem to be that much closer together. There appears to be as much conflict as there ever was. And it's hard. Life's better when you can share things with people.
Mhm.
And yet being in a situation that we describe as a prison is a lot of suffering, because the aim of prison from the perspective of society is to cause suffering, is to cause pain. It's punishment for crimes. So you have to decide within yourself, am I suffering or am I not suffering? If I'm
Mhm.
not suffering, then that's okay. But if I am suffering, then I have to make changes to help me survive. I also have to be able to communicate that in a very clear way to all of the people around about me, so they don't think I'm batshit crazy. Just by, it's it's very easy to look at things from the outside and misinterpret them. So that's why the open channels of communication are extremely important. And family is always the most complicated situation to try to work with and solve. But it's also it also brings the most joy. Success through family brings more joy than anything else. I think part of what we all want to do is, within ourselves, is set a good example for everybody around about us. And we're not setting a good example if we can't find some level of satisfaction within family. And it's not the fact that the grass is greener on the other side, it's the fact that you need to mow your own lawn. And put in the effort there to look after things and to accept reality, which is very hard. I mean, it's so hard. It's one of the most difficult elements for anyone at any point in time ever, and it doesn't change. It's always difficult to do, is accept reality. Accept the reality of the situation, accept the things that we can't change. Stop trying to form the world into our perfect image of the world. It's really hard because we all have this picture in our head of the way things should be. And it's frustrating if things are not like that. We've sort of turned full circle in the conversation, but throughout everything has been this idea of things being a trap, and the trap limiting us.
Mm-hmm.
And I've sort of repeated through the conversation this idea about it's a Bruce Lee, the famous martial artist. It's a Bruce Lee saying, "Be like water." When water is in the cup, it becomes the cup. When it's in the bottle, it becomes the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be like water. And there's no simple way to do it or understand it except to, observe how water is, how water reacts, how nature is. Does the tree get angry with the tree next to it? Not really. There are invasive species in nature, of course, but these are the good things in life. The good things come when we let go of all the things holding us back. And I think in life my experience is that a lot of people are closed. They don't have, or it's not they don't have the ability to accept things. It's you've got to learn to accept things. And no, I'm not just talking about you. I'm talking about everyone around about as well. And where, this is my conversation with you is not just a conversation with you. It's existentially a conversation with everyone around about you as well. Because these are not words just for you. These are words for them. And you know it, right? They need to hear that as well. They need to hear those things. And it's hard.